Logan Plant here with Sam Claiborne, and we just learned that Donkey Kong Bonanza is getting brand new paid DLC. And Sam, you've played it.
I have. I got to play it courtesy of Nintendo, and it is a two-pronged DLC, and there's a lot to go over in it. I very much enjoyed my time with it. I think it's kind of exactly what the end game needed for Donkey Kong Bonanza. And I just want to point out right from the start, you got to beat the game first. So if you want to play this DLC, you should play through the game. And luckily, Logan gave it a 10, so you know it's worth doing.
Yes, it's my game of the year, my favorite game of all time right now. I'm still playing it. I'm over 100 hours in, Sam, in my third playthrough.
Well, so what's your banana count look like at that point?
Oh, well, my first file's at 1,000. My second file, I did a 0 banana run, so I'm at 0.
Okay,
and my third file, I'm doing no transformations.
Okay,
yeah.
So I'm at 600, something like that in my base game, and I was starting to lose steam on it. So that's what this mode is really good for, and I can get into that. But do you want to talk about the island first?
Yeah, so the two prongs are DK Island and Emerald Rush. And as you mentioned, you need to beat the game, so this is kind of a bonus DLC post-game for Bonanza. Your preview's up now on IGN.com, and you kick it off talking about DK Island, which just sounds like an awesome nostalgic trip.
Yeah, and so you kind of noticed, Donkey Kong's on an adventure in this game, so you don't have that kind of rooted, where is Donkey Kong's native island? Well, you do see it in the nostalgia area. What's it called? It's called
Nostalgia Country.
Nostalgia Country, yeah, great level, which is a 2D Donkey Kong Country throwback that it kind of comes out of nowhere in Bonanza. But this is an actual world, so it's I would call it a layer, but I don't think it is because it's just Donkey Kong's island, right? It's not like some kind of undersea area. But it is recreating, I think, what you first saw when you played Donkey Kong Country, which is that, cliff facade with Donkey Kong's face in it. There's a couple of nods to that world. There's a Donkey Kong treehouse. All the characters are just out and about by that treehouse. Diddy and Dixie and Cranky. And then Squawks makes a return. There's a pirate ship out in the bay. There's a DK Bongo's island. There's a lot to discover, and you can destroy it all because this is Bonanza after all.
Awesome. So how do you kind of, I guess, treading lightly on spoilers, how do you get there? Like you mentioned in your preview, Void Kong is involved with this. What's up with DK Island?
So it's interesting. So first of all, just the road to actually unlocking that is that it's announced to you by any of the elders when you go on that, because post game you go on I'll try to keep spoilers to a minimum, I guess. Well, this is in-game content, so just be aware of that. You have to go back and talk to the elders, and they give you some kind of super hard quests in the post game. While they give those to you, they tip you off that this is now available to take the elevator to. Is that what it's called? Elevator?
Yeah,
teleport.
That's right.
Teleport.
Yeah, it's all the same. Elevator,
I'm just thinking of all the eel
yeah.
puns that they use in the game. Anyway, so you use the eels to just get to this layer now. And when you do that, you also find out that Void Kong is there, and he's there to recruit you as a Void Co. employee. And that's the other mode. That's Emerald Rush. But you can just freely explore this island. Now, remember, at the end game, there's bananas to find in all the layers, Banandium gems. And then there's also still, you can still purchase them. And that's how you fill out your end ones, right? You still have to do like in Mario Odyssey, purchasing the moons. So you can do that still, but they don't add Banandium gem puzzle things like that. The purpose of this island is exploration, nostalgia. And then there's also this big layered mode on it. Now that mode is also in other layers. You can unlock it for these other layers. It kind of transforms them into layers that can do this mode. It's not all of them, because some of those layers are like a transitional layer and stuff like that, right? But these kind of core layers have that. You also, interestingly, there's a little Easter egg where you can, in the race, if you're just playing through this game now after this update, that allows you to get this DLC. Apparently there's a hint at this in the race level, in the race layer.
Really?
So yeah, I thought that was interesting.
Cool.
So we'll have to all check that out and see what that is.
Yeah, that's super cool. That's something I felt a little bit disappointed in the racing layer, which is where Diddy and Dixie show up, that they didn't go more all in with some of the old Kong stuff. So this seems like a really perfect addition. Yeah,
exactly. And so, yeah.
Cool. Well, let's talk about Emerald Rush, which we were talking about a bit before the show, and it sounds very complicated to explain. This is a new high score chasing mode where everything kind of changes in these layers.
Yeah, so the first thing to know about this is that your skill set at this in this mode is taken away. And so what you're doing in this mode is you do a series of goal-based rounds in which the goals are based on collecting emeralds, which is a replacement for vanadium, almost as good in Void Kong's opinion. And what you have to do is you have to go out and figure out ways to get this in a time limit. So like in 100 seconds, you have to get 500 emerald bar filled, right? So in that time, you have some options. You can just go mine emerald veins. There's like vanadium veins. Like there's just the same idea. You can just like go nuts and like dig through the ground, but you don't have the skills. You don't even have your transformations. So as you play, you have to go hit what look like vanadium gems and fossils and other things to unlock perks and skills and your old skill set, and then even your transformation. So whenever the elephant transformation appears, I would always go for that tactically, because then you can start stacking, and I'll talk about these in a second, perks to do like a treasure chest based perks to get a lot of gems or emerald out of treasure chests, or just out of veins or digging or whatever. And then the elephant's really good at that, right? Because you just go in the area, you just vacuum it all in, and then you start learning the island that's new in this, and you can know where sources of things are. And so that's really helpful. So when you go back to other islands, you actually know that area a lot better. And like, oh, I can just go like grind in this area. If I only have 10 seconds left, you can use immediate fast travels by map each round, 3 of them, to warp around. Or you can turn those into a barrel and just shoot at the thing, which is kind of more fun.
Oh, cool.
But you can immediately fast travel in this round. So you have to kind of tactically plan the round. You want me to get into that?
Yeah. Does it feel like really frantic? Like you're rushing around really fast to do all this?
I kind of compared it to the Mario Kart mode. You'll have to remind me of the name of that mode, even though I just
the Knockout Tour
after writing all this. Yes, Knockout Tour, because there's round-based checks. So if you don't make your round, you're kicked out. Like that's it. So your round-based checks in this are like quantity. So even though you're aiming at maybe other goals like getting your elephant skill back, you still need to get to that 100 emerald mark. And by the way, if you go over it, it actually carries over to the next mode. So if you do a lot of great stuff, that's going to be helpful. But then the checkpoints become really high, and that's where perks come in. So perks are every time you hit a fossil, and there's a few other times this happens, you get to choose a little shuffle a perk system up. And it'll be like, one would be like, every time you surf, you gain emeralds. Every time you find a chest, you gain emeralds. Every time you complete a challenge, you get emeralds. If you keep choosing the same ones, they start stacking. So by round 8, you're going to have it like a 10x or 100x multiplier, something insane on rote activity that in the beginning you should be aiming for. That's the only way you're going to beat these modes, because you have to plan them out like this island, it has a lot of veins, so I should go for that would be a tactic. So the perks are important to stack, important to plan out, and can really save your butt by the end of them. Now, the challenges. So you can also aim for challenges. They pop up almost like a world event while this is happening. And I know by now I'm starting to sound like just a crazy person explaining things to you.
No, this makes sense.
But so instead of just going nuts and vacuuming everything up, maybe your tactic is, I'm just going to do the world events. The world events are get as fast as you can to the beach where these 3 monsters are and kill them. It might be something simple like that. One of them was really funny. It was high five Dixie Kong. You have to know where Dixie Kong is. She happens to be by the tree house, and you have to get up there and high five her. It's pretty cute.
That is so cool. It sounds like it's reminding me a little bit of like a Kirby Air Rider City Trial, like where these things happen and you go to them, or even like an Elden Ring Night Rain where you're rushing around trying to improve yourself as much as you can. It sounds really cool.
That's a really good comparison, actually. And I think that And just in terms of like kind of like quantity and effect on the game, it's kind of like the Bowser's Fury added onto, where it's just like, whoa, this is like a whole game, kind of grafted on to what you're doing. It's not comparable to Odyssey's DLC, which was Luigi's going to hide a balloon and then you need to find it, or actually,
not very good.
That was actually a multiplayer thing where people hide them and hide and seek. Yeah, it's just limited, right? And this is a kind of a large scope that scales in 2 ways. You unlock more levels to do it in, and then also you unlock levels of difficulty, and those go very high. Like, I think the point is to provide kind of a very in-depth challenge.
Well, so there is going to be an end to this content, though. There's like a highest level of difficulty for each layer this is included in.
Yep, and then there's also unlockables, and I did see gear in that unlockables list. So like, there's
Oh, cool.
sounds like, and by the way, you can equip whatever you unlocked in the base game before this. So like, that actually matters, right? Because in the base game you might be equipping, shorts and a tie that might be doing something that doesn't matter. But in this, like, you might actually need to swim fast because you don't have that skill to surf on the water anymore, and you got to get around the island. Like, there's like things like that to consider.
This sounds like a really great fit for what this game is, because two of my
love
favorite
the Night Rain
things.
comparison, by the way. That's
Like, it seems like that almost roguelite, but not super. But like it kind of fits into that vein of starting from nothing and building yourself up. And I think my favorite part about Bananza is DK's moveset. I think he's so great to control, and there's so many high level techniques that people have figured out in the 2 months since this game came out. Like, just when you pick up a chunk, you can do like quadruple jumps off of it if you know the right button inputs. And it seems like this mode is going to be able to let advanced players really access that skill ceiling that Donkey Kong has and just kind of go nuts with the destruction and stuff. So it seems like a really great fit.
Yeah, I was extremely impressed. I had fun. I can't wait to play more of it. And like, this is, at the very least, I think just it's so cool to see the connection to the original Donkey Kong stuff. Like, but to connect it to the core, SNES 64 retro era, and I mean that as the company Retro, who took over from Rare. It just feels like there's a through line that's being recognized here in a more prominent way than was in the base game, which I think for me is very appealing.
Yeah, that's really neat, because we've talked about this before. Jungle Beat was the last time Nintendo internally made a DK game, and that game tried to be like not Rare at all. They ignored that Rare games even existed. Like, it's totally its own thing. So to see Bananza embracing DK history so much is really awesome. So thanks so much for sharing, Sam. Sounds great.
Absolutely, it was my pleasure.
Thanks for watching this clip from Nintendo Voice Chat. Be sure to catch the full episode over at youtube.com/IGN Games. New episodes of NVC drop every Friday on IGN Games, IGN.com, and your favorite podcast platforms. With the Nintendo Switch 2 finally here, there is so much to dive into. We appreciate you tuning in, and don't forget, NVC is the only place you can get the thing.